each and every breath that we're taking is an opportunity to change our life around. We're not going to wait for another day. We're not going to wait for another week. We're not going to wait for another month, another year. If you want to do something, act upon it now. If we're telling ourselves, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I don't have confidence, someone else will do it, koi na, aur koi aajuga, then that's what we're putting in our system. And those actions are being repeated over and over again. And then we're taking those actions in. We're getting it internally. And for me, I couldn't do seva because I was thinking about those things. That, koi aur koi kar luga, meri ki lod hai. And because I internalized it so much, because I repeated it so much, became my behavior. My behavior reinforced the thoughts, and I didn't do seva. So this is an MRI of a brain from the top view. So looking from the top. Before you do simran, this is what it looks like. Look at the magic that happens after 25 minutes of simran. There's more blood flow. And then there's more symmetry. Brain waves are much more synchronized between the two sides of the brain. That's what we want. If we want to be happy in our life, if we want to enhance learning and have overall better mental well-being, then this is what we need to do. We need to do simran. How do we break away from that pattern of negativity? The brain is changing. The structure of the brain is changing. The connectivity, the communication between brain cells are changing. So we're going to get started with the lecture. This is something that I'm very excited about because this is my personal journey. I'm putting my life out there for you guys. So it'll be really nice to share this today. As we already know, the theme of this camp is Satgur Ayo Saran Tuhari. So here we're saying that, oh my Satguru, oh my true Guru, I've come to your sanctuary, I've come to you. Maharaj go on to say, Jio Pavati or Akhla, Ham Saran Prabh Aaye Ram Raje. So Maharaj is saying here in Gurbani, it says, I'm here now, I've come to your sanctuary, just keep me in whichever condition, in whichever position that pleases you. And if we talk lovingly with Maharaj, as we learned yesterday, when we talk to Maharaj, Maharaj talked to us back. So if we're saying this line, this pankti, with love, we're saying that, Maharaj, I'm sick and tired of wandering around now. I'm sick and tired of being in this negative pit of darkness. I'm just done now. I've tried everything I could that was in my power to get out of it, but I just cannot. Okay, mere hath kade aana. I can't do anything now. So it's you. You're gonna have to help me now because I can't. I've come to your sanctuary, I've come to your sharan, and it's you that's gonna help me now because I can't do anything on my own. I've tried, I really did, but it didn't work out. I just can't do it. So when we talk to Maharaj like that, and Maharaj talk to us back, that creates a really nice connection with us, between us and Maharaj, and that's where we need to be, right? So here in this pankti, Maharaj is saying, I've surrendered my mind, okay? They're saying that I've given myself up to you completely. And when we surrender our mind, that's when we come, and when we come to the sanctuary of Guru Granth Sahib, we come to the sanctuary of Maharaj, and when we surrender our mind to Maharaj, that's when we can truly serve. That's when we can do seva. And seva is very special. Seva only happens with the kirpa of Maharaj. It happens with the blessings of Maharaj. I cannot get up willy-nilly and be like, yeah, today I'm going to do seva. Because it's Maharaj that's giving us, putting that thought in our mind. It's Maharaj that's directing us as well. And if we have been given any seva, it could be anything. And we'll talk about seva in a second. Whatever seva we've been given, it's a huge blessing. And that's because Maharaj is happy with us. If we look at seva from that perspective, then we're excited to do seva rather than being scared. So we're going to talk about this in this lecture, especially for my bibiyan perna that get a bit worried. So we're going to talk about this. So before we begin, we're going to look at seva from a different perspective. So seva is being looked at the moment in a mainstream sort of way. We're going to sort of think outside the box and look over the horizon when it comes to seva. And I want you guys to just think about, if you can see the slide, just think about these three questions. What does it mean to serve? What does it mean to do seva for you? What are your skills and talents? And how can you serve the community or humanity? So this is not something that you need to answer right away. This is something that you need to reflect on, and then we'll revisit it at the end of the lecture. So what is seva? Seva means selfless service. It's any act of giving, any act that we perform without wanting anything in return, without having any desires, without wanting any reward in return. That's seva, that's selflessness. And this seva only comes when we come to the century of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, when we surrender our mind to Guru Granth Sahib Ji and we're like, Maharaj, I'm here. I'm here now. Just use me in whichever way you want to, and just put me in whichever position, whichever condition you want me to be in. I'm here now. Just use me. Okay, so often we do seva with the mindset that we want something in return. And these thoughts might be very subtle and we don't even know that we're thinking about it. The biggest one that I can think about is, if I do seva, then I'll go to Sachkhand. That's like the biggest one, if we do seva, then we'll get some brownie points, and then, I'm doing something good in life, mainu kuch vadiya miluga, and then at the end, I'll probably see Maharaj at the end. But even that is having a desire. Even that is wanting something in return. In Gurbani, it says, Raj na chahu, mukta na chahu, man preet charan kamlare. Where Maharaj is saying, I don't even want any power. I don't want anything. Raj na chahu, I don't want any power. Mukta na chahu, I don't even want liberation. And that's something we often hear a lot in kathas, that we want to become jivan mukta, want to become brahmagyanis, we want to be liberated from this cycle of birth and death. That's amazing. I mean, it will happen eventually, but we don't want to be at that point. We want to be at a point where at Maharaj's feet. Sant Hardev Singh Ji Lullo Wale, we listen to them as well, and they're amazing. And they're saying, Je tu apni chalani hai, if you're just going to say, Maharaj minu eh de do, then where's Maharaj? It's all you, isn't it? So if we say, Maharaj, jio bhav hai teo rakh le, whichever way, whatever pleases you, just keep me in that position, because I just want you. Okay? We don't want no mukti, we don't want no raj, sanu kuch bhi nahi chahida, sanu bas tade charan kamal chahide, we just want to be with you. So when we talk to Maharaj like that, that's when kirpa happens, and that's when seva comes about. So I have a question for you, and this is going to be an interactive lecture. So when you hear the word seva, which sevas come to your mind? Just raise your hand. Let's get this going. Rapid fire round. What is seva? Kedi seva? You've been doing so many sevas at the camp. Hanji. Feeding, okay. Langar seva, hanji. Very good. Anyone else? Yeah, Ishwar? Sweeping the floor. Very, very good. Yeah. Washing the plates. Very good. Anything else? There's so many common ones, yeah. Teaching. Oh, you're getting to the other side. Very good, though. We'll keep that in mind. Come on. Chaur Sahib, very good. There's so many sevas in Darbar Sahib, isn't it? Peredar di seva, Chaur Sahib di seva, Kirtan di seva, Tabale di seva. There's like so many sevas that we can be doing. Nityanem di seva, kinniya seva hoiyan sigiyan aj. There's so many different types of sevas. They're all amazing. And do as much seva as you can at this camp, because it will really motivate you in life to carry on the seva and do more. But the seva that we're going to talk about today is a bit different. So the theme of the lecture is the century of serving, and how can we share our gifts, our talents, and our skills. So what kind of gifts? This is just an example that has been put on the slide, but there's obviously much more. What kind of gifts can we, share with the Sangha and do seva? So one is the gift of presence, spending time with your loved ones. That is very important. That's a gift. When you're in the present moment, you can interact with someone, you can give them good quality time. So if I were to have a conversation with one of you, and if I was just like looking around, you're not really paying attention, then you wouldn't really feel like you're being heard, isn't it? So presence and listening go hand in hand. They're very important. When we listen to someone, because there's so many people out there, they just want to talk about something, they just want to get something out of their system. And, if we can be that person that listens to them, gives them that attention, they feel wanted and they feel heard. And that's all we need sometimes. So that's a gift. And that's a seva we can do. Having a healthy lifestyle. If you're someone that goes to the gym, has a really good diet, you can help your family and friends. You can even help the Sangha. So for me, it was my nutrition coach. I really needed to lose weight, and I've been going up and down with my weight. I was given a nutrition coach through NHS. With Maharaj's Kirpa, turned out to be a Sikh person. And apart from working through the NHS, because they only give you 6 months, he actually took out time from his own life and did the seva of, guiding me through this journey, because my journey was really hard. And he really helped me lose weight and give me all the nutritional information, exercise, all that. But the most important thing was, he actually incorporated Sikhi in all the sessions that he did with me. And I was so shocked, and I'm not being judgmental at this point. When I say this, he was a munna. He didn't have, he didn't keep his kesh, he didn't have, amrit. So he asked me, he's like, do you do simran? And I was like a bit shocked. I was like, what? Yeah, kade kade kar lida ya. He's like, you should do simran. And then I was like, yeah, but why? Why are you telling me this? And I was like really embarrassed at that point. He's like, you know what? You're stress eating. You're eating a lot of junk food because you're stressed out. But when you do simran, then you can calm your mind. I'm like, I know the theory. Mainu pata simran ki karda. But it's just hearing it from someone else. It just makes a huge impact. And not only that, he became my sangat. So every time we would have sessions, we would talk about the nutritional information, but then we would talk about Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So it turned out to be a very good symbiotic relationship. So that's something that we can pass on. And another one is patience. We need to have patience when we want to learn something new. We want to have patience when we want to learn something new. We need to have patience with kids. We need to have patience when we're teaching. So that's a gift that we can have. And we can share this talent, we can share this gift. Talent and skills, if you have the ability to make someone laugh, the icebreaker session was amazing. I loved it. So if you have the ability, Arandeep Vijay's right there, if you have the ability to make someone laugh, Vijay, you should, because that's your seva. If you have any technical ability, if you're able to work the computer, able to work this projector, if you're able to work Sikhi to the max, Shabad OS, whatever it is, you should do it. You should jump on it. If you have any artistic ability, I'm going to just show this. So yesterday in the art workshop, we were asked to paint something and relating to what we think sanctuary means. So this is Guru Gobind Singh Ji, a figurine, that's their Kalgi and the jewel on Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Dumalla, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji's carrying me. That's me in the black. I didn't get to finish it. I was going to put more yellow in there because Maharaj is carrying me. I'm feeling better now. So sanctuary for me is being in the arms of my Guru. Sanctuary for me is having that love, having that protection, feeling protected. And the only place, the only way I feel protected is with my Guru. That's my sanctuary. That's who I come to. As a child when I'm sad, as a child when I'm going through a lot of negativity, as a child when I'm going through a lot of mental health problems. Yes, I have mental health problems. People, don't think that our life is perfect. When I'm feeling all of that, all I want to do is be in the grasp of my Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So that is sanctuary for me. And look how beautiful this is. Benji used their artistic ability to do the seva. That's something we can do. We don't think about seva outside of the things that we already talked about. All of those are amazing, but this is seva as well. One of you can be leading the workshop next year. Who knows? Budgeting and finance. There's so many people out there that are not doing well because of inflation. If you have the ability to help them, then do so. Teaching and coaching is one of them as well. My nutrition coach was really helpful to me. And there's so many people with mental health issues. If you can coach them through, that could be your seva. So don't think of seva just limited to the Gurdwara Sahib, because we don't all have access to Gurdwara Sahib, unfortunately. So then doesn't mean that we can't do seva. We still can. You just need to broaden your horizon a bit. So the whole point of this lecture, the whole point of coming here and talking about seva and the sanctuary of seva is that, one, it's not limited to a few things, and two, seva can really save your life, and I mean it. I'll talk to you about it later in the slides, but it really saved my life, and it is true. I'm talking from experience. Seva is something that if you start doing it regularly, it will prevent you from drifting away in life. It really will. If you have mental health issues, if you have any sort of issues, do seva. It will really take your mind off of it, one thing. And another thing is, it will really help you in your Sikhi as well. So just do anything. If you can do anything, just do at least one seva at this camp if you haven't already. So let's ask Maharaj, what does it really mean to serve? What does seva really mean? Maharaj says, Seva kart hoye neh kami, tisko hot parapat swami. That when we do seva, selfless service, hoye neh kami, without any wanting anything in return, without wanting any, having any thoughts of reward that I want this, this, and that. When we do seva from that selfless place, then tisko hot parapat swami. Then that person shall attain Vaheguru. So that's where we need to be. We would like to be at a place where we're selfless. And that will happen if we start doing seva. That's the place, that's like the end point we want to get to, being selfless. But it won't happen until we actually start doing the seva. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Selfless service, seva, is a quality that we get from Vaheguru. Okay? So seva is something that we cannot come up with. Seva is something that Vaheguru is doing already, selflessly. If you think about it, Vaheguru is providing for us each and every second of our life, each and every breath of our life, Vaheguru is providing for us. And in Dasambani it says, Do khandekat hai par det na hara. That Vaheguru is looking at all of us, whatever karam we have done, whatever bad deeds we're doing or have done, Vaheguru is looking at that. Do khandekat hai par det na hara. But Vaheguru doesn't stop providing. Vaheguru doesn't stop giving. And that comes from selflessness. Okay? So, let's look at the life of someone that did seva and lived that Gurbani Panktiyan, that tisko hot parapat swami, seva kart hoye neh kami, tisko hot parapat swami. And here is an image of Bhai Nand Lal Ji. We talked about Bhai Nand Lal Ji yesterday, and here's a sakhi on them today. So Bhai Nand Lal Ji, as we know, are a very good learned scholar. They're the ones that wrote Rahatnamas. They're the ones that wrote praises of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Nasro Mansoor, Guru Gobind Singh, all of those. So Bhai Nand Lal Ji would do seva in the langar. So they were given the seva of washing batte, washing the dishes. So you can see that their clothes are a bit dirty. So anyone that is in the langar team, they would know that this is inevitable, that is going to happen. So imagine this now. So take your imagination back to the time where Guru Gobind Singh Ji is in Sri Anandpur Sahib. They're sitting on their throne. Sangata are coming and going. They're doing matha tek. They're getting the blessings of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. One family comes through and they had a humble request for Guru Gobind Singh Ji. They said to Maharaj, we've made this chola, we've stitched this chola, and we would really want you to wear it. And Maharaj said, yes, of course, I'll wear it. And they said, Maharaj, we would really like to see you wear it now. And Maharaj said, Koi na, kar lenne, not a problem. So as Maharaj came down and they were about to put the chola on, Bhai Nand Lal Ji walked by. And then Guru Gobind Singh Ji quickly called Bhai Nand Lal Ji to come through. And Bhai Nand Lal Ji is like, coming. Imagine Guru Gobind Singh Ji is calling on to one of you. And it's like, oh no, Maharaj called me, let me go. I'm going to run to Maharaj now. They go to Guru Gobind Singh Ji. They said, Hanji Maharaj, what would you like me to do? Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, I would like you to wear this chola. Take your old chola off and wear the new one. And the Sangat was shocked. They're like, why are they asking Bhai Nand Lal Ji? He just came recently and he's getting the special treatment. We've been doing seva here for so many years and Maharaj haven't asked us. That's where the homemade comes in. Bhai Nand Lal Ji served selflessly. As they were doing the seva of the Pandey, they became their bad deeds, their homemade kept on getting washed away, and they became selfless. Whereas the other people, the other Sikhs were doing seva, but they weren't doing seva with their heart. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. So Bhai Nand Lal Ji said, I can't do this, Maharaj. Maharaj said, ek paase ta tu kehna hukum mannega, duje paase tu manda nahi. You're living in duality. What are you going to do? Are you going to listen to the hukum or are you not going to listen to the hukum? And Bhai Nand Lal Ji were like, yeah, no, I'm going to listen to the hukum. So they take off their old chola and they put the new one on and they walk out of the darbar. When they walk out near the door, so imagine that's the door. Near the door, there was a person that was really cold. It's really cold in here. It's really windy. It's really adding on to the ambiance of this this story, this Sakhi. The person was really cold and really hungry. So that person was like, can you give me something to wear? Can you give me something to eat? Bhai Nand Lal Ji quickly took off the new chola and gave it to that person. And then the same Sikhs that were fuming with jealousy and hatred, they're like, look, he didn't even value the chola that Maharaj gave to him. He's just given it away. And they're fuming with that jealousy. They're like, you know what, that's it, enough is enough. We're going to go tell on him. I'm going to tell Guru Gobind Singh Ji. They go to Guru Gobind Singh Ji and they tell on him. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji were like, Acha, ਉਹਨੇ ਏਦਾਂ ਕੀਤਾ? ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਓ, ਮੈਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ. I'm going to talk to him. They call Bhai Nand Lal Ji in, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji asked Bhai Nand Lal Ji, did you give the new chola away? And Bhai Nand Lal Ji were like, I'm so confused. And I was thinking, I was reading upon this, listening to this. I'm like, what's the confusion? Bhai Nand Lal Ji were like, Maharaj, in front of the Sangat, you're the one that gave me the chola. And then when I went outside, you're the one that took it back. And the Sangat is so confused. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji just come down and they just give Bhai Nand Lal Ji a hug. They're like, you know what? You've gotten Brahm Gyan. You see me in each and every one. Guru Gobind Singh Ji is the form of Akal Purkh themselves. And Bhai Nand Lal Ji were seeing Guru Gobind Singh Ji in that person that needed the clothes and the food. So Bhai Nand Lal Ji said, Tusi ditta, tusi leya. There was no me. Main ta hai nahi si vich. And that's what it means to be selfless. So when we do seva, when we continue to do seva regularly, it becomes effortless. We don't think that we're the ones that are giving. We don't think that we're losing anything if we give anything away. In Dasambani, it says, Katuhu pikhari hoy kya mangat phirat pika kahu maharajan hoy kya mangat tan det ho. It says that somewhere out there, you're the beggar. You're the one asking for things. And somewhere out there, Vaheguru, you are the supreme giver. You're the one that's giving. There is no me. There's no home. Vaheguru is the one that's giving. Vaheguru is the one that's taking. So if we continue to do seva, then we can get to a point where we are at that point where we're serving selflessly. And we know that it's not us doing seva. It's not me standing here doing this lecture. It's Vaheguru. Vaheguru is the one that's giving this vichar to you guys. Vaheguru is the one that brought you here, and Vaheguru is the one that's going to help you. Take care? So then my question was, where does the ability to serve actually come from? And we sort of talked about it in the very beginning. So often what we do is, our body is here, so all you guys are sitting here, but where is your mind? Is your mind in the past? Is it in the future? Or is it in the present moment? Because present moment, as we already talked about, is where Vaheguru is. That's where we would like to be. So where does the ability to serve, where does the ability to do seva come from? And it's very simple. It comes from Maharaj. Maharaj is the only one that can give us that ability, but only if we come to the sanctuary of Maharaj and we give ourselves up. We surrender our mind. That's when Maharaj do the kirpa on us, and then those talents, those skills, those gifts, they come forth, they become pargat, and then we can start using them and helping someone in their life. So Maharaj says, Satgur ki seva safal hai, je ko kare chit laye. So we talked about this, that service of Satguru, that service, the selfless service is fruitful if we put our mind, our full concentration into it. So let's say our mind is not into something. Are we really going to do justice to it? Yes or no? Exactly. So if we put our heart out into the seva, then look at what magic will happen. Then we will start to wash away our bad deeds, our karam, whatever is holding us back from connecting with Vaheguru, whatever inhibitions we have, whatever is preventing us, that's saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, all of that will go away as we continue to do seva, and then we'll become selfless. This is my favorite bit, so the rest of the slides, this is the easy bit for me now. Because talking about, often we would like to do seva, and often we come across a lot of hurdles that prevent us from doing seva. And this is my life. What hinders us from doing seva? What hinders us from sharing our talents or our skills? So you must have heard that you get more of what you focus on. So energy flows where attention goes. So whatever we spend our time thinking about and feeling is what we become more of. So what stands between us and serving? Negative thoughts, bad thoughts, our ego, self-judgment, that we're too critical on ourselves, thinking that others might be judging us if we're doing something, or I might be doing some seva wrong because I'm not really good at it and I just got started, or thinking that, you know, so-and-so is so much more experienced than me and I might be making mistakes and that's really holding us back. I'm looking at you guys, all the bibi, I had a conversation with them before this. Not worthy enough. We feel that we're not worthy enough, that's me. I felt that I wasn't worthy enough to even be here at the camp. I'm not worthy enough to be at the course camp. I'm not worthy enough to do any seva. I'm just not. That was my negativity talking to me. Self-doubt. I had a lot of self-doubt. And my self-doubt came from fear of failure. I didn't want to fail anyone. I didn't want to, you know, say anything that might take someone off the path of Sikhi. Not knowing enough is another thing. We think that we need to know sare granth pad lo changi tarah, then we'll do seva. Jinne tak granth nahi pade, santhya nahi kiti changi tarah, we can't do seva. But that's not true. We can always do seva. And as we do seva, Maharaj do kirpa on us and we get to know those granths. We get to get that santhya. We get to do more things. And this is my favorite one. Someone else can do it. That's my go-to line. Every time I'm asked to do something, I'm like, koi na, hor koi hega ya kar luga, koi tension hi nahi. Baljeet Singh asked me to do, I was like, no, I'm not doing it. Veer ji rehn do, tusi mainu aਵੇਂ ਪੰਗੇ ਚ ਪਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਕਰਨਾ, ਮੈਂ ਠੀਕ ਹਾਂ. Someone else will do it, Sukhdeep will do it, it's all good. And then Veer didn't mention the part yesterday when they said they met us at Shepherd's Bush, Gurdwara Sahib. Veer didn't talk about the coaching they did with me to encourage me to be here. They're like, nahi tu kar la. This is what you have been doing and you can share this gift with the Sangat, tu karla. But where was I stuck? Energy flows where attention goes. I was stuck in that negativity cycle that I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I'm not worthy enough. And this is something that I've heard. Remember I said I've been talking to a lot of Sangat here in the camp, sort of get a sense of where everybody's at. And this is something that's coming up again and again. Nobody's talking about seva positively. Yes, I'm ready to do seva. Chakko phatte. Nobody's saying that. Everybody's like, nahi bhen ji, mere to nahi hona, main nahi kar sakdi, main nahi kar sakda. You know, mainu aanda nahi kuch. Sanu aanda siga jadon assi shivr kitta si. We were put on the spot, man. You guys have it too easy. Sanu to utte tabya te chada ke chalo ji katha karo. I'm like, what? Without any sort of, you know, time. You given some time, we don't have that. We weren't given that. But we did it. And it wasn't we that did it, it was Maharaj that did it through us. Okay? So if we're telling ourselves these negative things, then we don't have the courage to do seva, and we don't want to be at that point. And because I love neuroscience, and this is something that I've studied, wanted to incorporate a bit of science in here for the Sangat. So neuroscience says, what fires together wires together. So this is important. And this explains mental health really well, okay? So those of you that have heard, you know, depression causes this, depression does that, and all that kind of stuff, this is what explains how you get to depression, anxiety, and all that kind of stuff. So body and mind don't know the difference between a memory or a reality, okay? So what that means is, let's say something bad happened to you in your life, let's say in childhood, and you're living in the present moment right now, and if you were to think about that time, that was in the past, all the neurochemicals that were released at that time that made you feel sad, if you think about it in this present moment, it will do the same thing. Because the body and the mind don't know the difference between a memory and a reality. Does that make sense? Or is it too much? Make sense? Perfect. So, thoughts create feelings. Feelings create behavior. This is very important, Sangaji. This is something that we go through. We talk about, every pracharak talks about this. At a theoretical level, we're getting into the crux of it now. What is it? Thoughts, they create feelings. ठीक है? Feelings create behavior. So we start to act upon those feelings. Those feelings reinforce those thoughts again. Then we start to sort of go back in that cycle. Let's say someone is undergoing depression. What do you want to do when you're depressed? You don't want to get up from your bed. You don't want to do anything. You just want to lay in. You don't want to go to your work. You don't want to eat much. And that behavior, because you're doing it physically, is reinforcing those thoughts that I'm depressed. So this is a very vicious cycle. And even in Gurbani it says, Punni papi akhana na hai, kar kar karana likh la jaho. That you cannot have virtues and you cannot have vices just by mere words. That kar kar karana likh la jaho. That actions are repeated over and over again, are engraved internally. So if we're telling ourselves, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I don't have confidence, someone else will do it, koi na, aur koi aajuga, then that's what we're putting in our system. And those actions are being repeated over and over again, and then we're taking those actions in. We're getting it internally. And for me, I couldn't do seva because I was thinking about those things that, koi aur koi kar luga, meri ki lod hai. And because I internalized it so much, because I repeated it so much, it became my behavior. My behavior reinforced the thoughts, and I didn't do seva. Okay? So that's why we do nityanem. We want to do nityanem, and it's nityanem. We do it repeatedly every single day, so that the good stuff sticks inside, so that Gurbani talks to us, so that Maharaj tell us, nahi. If I'm telling you, Ottha naam jap, you need to get up and jap naam. If I'm telling you, ninda kisi ki nahi pali, then don't do slandering, don't do anyone's nindya. So repeated actions, thoughts, and feelings and behaviors, they get engraved on our subconscious mind. So the question is, what are we focusing more on? Are we serving our past trauma, resentment, anger, fear of future? Then that's what we become, because energy flows where attention goes. Or are we serving humanity through compassion and through love, because that's what we will become. So it's up to us. So each and every breath that we're taking is an opportunity to change our life around. We're not going to wait for another day, we're not going to wait for another week, we're not going to wait for another month, another year. If you want to do something, act upon it now. This is our time, this is our chance. This moment is our chance to change your life around. So then, why is it so hard to change? Again, I love this. Sangat ji, this is an iceberg, and we're mostly asleep. Can you see that? Only 5% of our brain is actually awake. And 5% of our brain is the one that's making conscious decisions. Everything else is robotic. If we are driving, we're not thinking about it because we've done those actions so many times, we're not thinking about it anymore. They're engraved inside of us. When we're brushing our teeth, we don't have to think about when we're brushing our teeth. Everything else, 95% of us, is subconscious. Those are our beliefs, our emotions, our habits, our values, our conditioning, memory, and traumas. Everything else is subconscious. So this is very scary when I say this, and it is the truth, that negativity can become subconscious as well if we're doing a lot of it. Okay? Negativity can become subconscious as well. It can be etched inside of us if we're doing a lot of it. And I was doing that. For 2 to 3 years, you can ask anyone, especially Simran, meri bhai. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but poor girl, she's been trying to get me on course camp, and I'm like, no, Bani, I can't do it. Because of the negativity I was following for so many years, I just couldn't do that seva, and I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. What we don't realize is that just like the fish that doesn't realize that it's surrounded by water until it's out of it, we don't realize that we're Vaheguru. This is exactly why we suffer, because we don't do that internal coach. We're so into looking outwardly and doing things outwardly, we don't look inside. We don't sit down with ourselves. We don't sit down with Gurbani and be like, okay, let's see what Maharaj is really telling us. Let's see what Maharaj is saying so we can follow those teachings and then we can act upon those teachings in our lives. We don't do that with ourselves. And this is, again, my favorite bit because it's sciencey again. The truth is, everything is energy. Everything. We don't realize that because we're looking outwardly, but everything is energy. So this is something very interesting that I came upon. There's this guy called, I'm going to butcher his name, guy called Higgs Boson. Boson, sorry. Higgs Boson. And he's the one that came up with this God particle. And the interesting thing he said was that this God particle, he called it the God particle because it's so hard to detect, but he said it grants other particles their mass. So hold on to that thought for a second. And he said that this God particle, it permeates all of space and time. It's everywhere. What does that remind you of? Who is everywhere? You can shout it out, come on. Vaheguru is everywhere, exactly. He said this God particle gives the whole universe its energy. Who's that? Vaheguru. So for those that are like really into equations, E is equal to mc squared. E is energy. So mass and energy are one and the same. So what he's really saying is this God particle is giving everything else in the creation its energy. So what we are is we are energy. We're transferring energy with each other. That's fascinating. That was like mind-blowing for me. So this explains why we come to Sangat. When we meet someone that is so uplifted, why do we feel so good when we're in their Sangat? This explains it. We're exchanging energy, we're transferring energy to each other, and we're uplifting each other. And this is explained here. And even in Gurbani it says, Sab meh jot jot hai soye, tisda chanan sab meh chanan hoye. There's light amongst each and every one, each and everything. And you are that light. Tisda chanan sab meh chanan hoye. That light becomes radiant, but how does that light become pargat? Gur sakhi jot pargat hoye. Through the teachings of the Guru, through Maharaj's kirpa, that light shines forth. And then we can do seva. So the question is, yes, we're stuck in this negativity cycle that's preventing us from doing seva. How can we transform? So Maharaj say, Eho manua khenana tikya baho rangi dah dis chal chal hadde gur pura paya vadpagi har mantra diya man thadde. That this mind does not hold still. We have one thought, another thought comes through. We let go of one thought, the other one comes through. It's like this mind is always running, it's always pacing. Who feels that way? Who feels that their mind is always pacing? So everybody else that doesn't feel it, tusi Brahmagyani ban ge prabhu. Very good. So our mind is always pacing. It doesn't stay constant even for a second. It gets distracted, it's wandering aimlessly. And Maharaj is saying, Gur pura paya vadpagya, found the true Guru with great fortune, and that Guru has given me a mantra that connects me to Vaheguru. That mantra is Vaheguru, and my mind has become at peace. My mind is shant. Who here has experienced this magic, this experience of simran that has really helped them in their life? Raise your hand. Very nice. And I'm one of those people. What simran does for us is it enables us to transform our suffering, our doubts, our fear, and access peace. And really and truly, I mean it, it worked for me. And it's working for me. I urge everybody to do simran, even if it's for 2 minutes, just do it. Take the initiative and just do it. What it does to you is you become conscious of your thoughts. So you know the pattern of negativity that you have, I can't do this, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, all that stuff, you start to catch it now when you do simran because you're becoming conscious of your thoughts. Then you're like, wait a second, I'm not going to do this anymore because I'm sick and tired of this now. I've come to your sanctuary, Vaheguru, please help me. And Maharaj gave us that mantra. They told us to remember Vaheguru. And when we do that, we move past those thoughts. We break away that pattern of negativity, and then we bring our mind back to the present. So, this is where mindful meditation comes in. So, on the left, it says here, before you do any simran, this is what our brain looks like. This is the top view of our brain. And because I love neuroscience, I want to just show some brains there. So this is what happens when you don't do simran, yeah? So this yellow bit here is the stress, the negativity, all the neural connections that are firing when you're stressed out, when you're irritable, when you have anxiety, when you have depression. This is like very chaotic brain wave that you're getting. But when you do simran, look at all of that going down. This is fascinating. Look how simran can actually help you reduce your stress, reduce your anxiety, reduce your depression, and get you back to normal life. This is what Simran does. And now we know how it works. Before we hear that, Pracharak said, this is Simran kar lo badiya tadde li. It's good, but I wanted a bit more. I wanted to see how it happens, being the scientist in me. And this is how it happens. This is what happens. Your brain transforms. This is even more fascinating. So this is an MRI of a brain from the top view, so looking from the top. Before you do Simran, this is what it looks like. The brain waves are chaotic. They're everywhere. So all of these colors, they're just everywhere. There's no even distribution. So this is the left side of the brain, this is the right side, and they're all over the place. But when you do Simran for just 15 minutes, you see this red? This is increase in blood flow. Your blood starts to flow more towards your brain, and the brain waves, they start to even out. They start to distribute symmetrically between the two hemispheres of your brain, left and right side. Look at the magic that happens after 25 minutes of Simran. There's more blood flow, and then there's more symmetry. Brain waves are much more synchronized between the two sides of the brain. That's what we want. If we want to be happy in our life, if we want to enhance learning and have overall better mental well-being, that this is what we need to do. We need to do Simran. That's the whole point of this slide. The most fascinating thing that I found, and this really excites me, research shows that meditation doesn't just focus your brain, it alters it through neuroplasticity. So for those that don't know what neuroplasticity is, so here the brain has the ability to change the neuronal connections, meaning that these brain cells are talking to each other. When we do Simran, how do we break away from that pattern of negativity? The brain is changing. The structure of the brain is changing. The connectivity, the communication between brain cells are changing. That for me is quite fascinating. So when we start to live consciously, when we start to do Seva, it could be any Seva, we need to do it regularly. Like we said, it can really save our life, and for me it really did. When we do Seva consciously, then we become conscious of what we're doing. We need to have self-control. Then we start to think, what are my eyes seeing? Are they seeing something wrong? What are my ears hearing? Are they hearing slandering and gossiping? What is my tongue saying? Is it saying something that's hurtful to someone? Is it the one that's slandering and gossiping? What are my hands doing? What actions are I performing? Then you start to become conscious of your actions. Then we have Chardi-kala mindset. So what does Chardi-kala mind mean? It means that you're facing your problems head on. It means that you're growing, you're becoming a better version of yourself. It means that you're practicing to have peace inside of you while there's chaos outside. Okay? The troubles, they never go away. The sadness is not going to go. If there's sukh, there's dukh. If there's dukh, there's sukh. They're like two sides of the coin. They're just not going to go away. They're like waves. But when we practice to have that peace inside of us, that's when, magic happens. That's when we can take on any situation straight up, headstrong. And Chardi-kala means taking those small steps. So we're seeing how we can get to serving, how we can get to do Seva. When we have Chardi-kala mind, as we're doing Seva, we start to get Chardi-kala mind. We start to take those small steps towards doing something better, becoming a better version of ourselves. And think about this. Water needs to keep on moving, right? If it stops, then what happens to water? It becomes stagnant, and what happens to it? Yes, it becomes poisonous. So if we don't keep on moving on in life, what are we becoming? We're becoming poisonous, isn't it? Our mind is becoming poisonous. And how does that show when our mind becomes poisonous? We got anger. We have frustration. We have anxiety. We have depression because we're not moving forward. We're stagnant. And you get that Chardi-kala mind, in order to maintain it, we need to practice gratitude. And this is something that saved my life and helped me serve. This is something that helped me do Seva personally. My husband, who's falling asleep right now, they're loving this talk so much. They're the ones that motivated me to practice gratitude. They're like, you know what? You need to write down 3 things. Sorry. You need to write down 3 things in a day that you're grateful for. And not just write anything, nothing shallow. You got to write something that's meaningful. You got to add some details into it. What are you really thankful for? What are you really grateful for in your life in that day? When I started practicing gratitude, I kid you not, I thought the main thing that was holding me back from doing Seva was that my life is not moving forward. I thought I was a rock. Everybody else is moving forward. I'm not able to do that. But as I started practicing gratitude, I'm like, hold on a second. I'm making these small steps in life and I am moving forward. I am doing something. And that's where gratitude really helped me. And from gratitude came this amazing Seva of Gurbani Santhya. So every Wednesday we have Gurbani Santhya classes. And again, especially to those Vidyalaya students that are, getting Santhya, I only got Santhya from the Vidyalaya, the Academy of Basics of Sikhi, and then Maharaj knew the skills, they gave me the skills, gave me the talent that I needed to have in order to have this class. So these are our students. And this class is split into two groups. So one is for the little kids, and this is for all range, all ages. And then the other class is for the adults. And the interesting thing about this class is that one, we do Santhya, and two, we translate the Gurbani as we're going along, pankti by pankti. And that has really helped everybody connect to Gurbani. Because then we know, as we're reading, what Maharaj is even saying to us. And the Sangat is so happy that, they've said that this is their favorite time of the week. Because they are able to connect with Gurbani, and we have it's like a playful thing. We joke around and things like that. We're not serious. Ustad Ji, Bhai Baljeet Singh Ji mentioned we need to be a bit playful, innocent, and we do that in this class. And this class really saved my life. This is why I'm here today. This is why I'm doing this talk, because I really want everybody to be able to see the kirpa that Maharaj do when we open our hearts, when we come to the sanctuary of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and we're saying, Maharaj, main ta thak gaya, mere hath khade hain. Tusi jo karna karo, whatever pleases you, just do it. Main danya. Wherever you want me to be, whatever seva you want me to do, just put me in that spot. And this is what comes out of it, this greatness. And this seva, it creates excitement. So the important thing here is, do seva one, start doing seva if you haven't already, and make it regular, because that's what really helps. Weekly, even monthly, because you get excited to see the Sangha, you're excited to even do more seva. And then as you do seva, you get better and better and better. And as you do seva, become more and more selfless, and that's where we want to be. Another one is serving through sharing. So this is something that's local to us. Yeah, that's me on the left. This is very local to us. This is a langar seva that we do every single week. And VG's right there. Thank you, VG, for sitting in the front. Sorry to put you on the spot. VG comes to Lewisham not every Sunday, but tries to come to Lewisham on Sundays to do langar seva. And it's every Thursday and every Sunday. Thursday in Woolwich and Sunday at Lewisham. And this seva, you're just giving out food to the Sangat. And it doesn't matter if you're homeless or not, you're just giving out langar. Where I come in, and this really helped my confidence. That negativity, I thought I'm not good enough, I can't do this, mainu ta kuch aanda nahi, main ki kehna, main ki karna. Maharaj like, tu reh, tu ethe ruk, main tenu changi tarah dasna tu ki nahi ki karna. So Maharaj gave me the seva of doing Sakhi time at the end. So we would huddle around with a group, and then we would share a Sakhi related to langar or related to Gurbani. And then we'll share that amongst each other. And then, that motivated me to learn even more Sakhiya, because I cannot remember history. I can't remember Sakhiya. But this really motivated me to exercise my brain and get to learn more. And this is how seva increased and increased and increased. So once we get started, there's no looking back. We just want to look forward. And this really helped my mental health. Went through a lot of things, depression, anxiety, panic attacks. Sara kuch keh do. Been through that. Been there, done that sort of thing. This is the one thing that saved me. This is the one thing that helped me get out of that pit of negativity. Maharaj said, Guna ka hove vasula, kad vas laija. That we have this basket full of virtues. Maharaj is saying, kad la onu bar, take it out and vas laija, enjoy it. And that's what I'm doing here today. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, but it's so true. I'm actually enjoying it today. Sangat ji, for a very long time, I've had inhibitions. I thought I couldn't do anything in life. I thought I couldn't do any seva. But Maharaj, look at how amazing Maharaj is. And through the Sangha, they brought me here. And I'm really thankful for this opportunity today. They say, Je gun hovan sajna mil saj karija. Saying, if you have any virtues, then share it. Share it with everybody. Don't hold them in. Take them out. Take them out and share them. And this is what we're here to do today as Sangat. And I'm very thankful for this Sangat. I'm very thankful to Viji for motivating him. I'm very thankful for my Panji, Gursimran Panji, that's always motivating me, trying to get me out. And this is what we need to do for each other, because we don't want to be stuck in this pit that we can't do anything. So these are the benefits of sharing. So we're coming near the end. So this is what happens when we do seva. When we do seva, other people can benefit from that. If we weren't here, if Bhai Baljeet Singh wasn't here, if there weren't anyone else to do the seva, to serve the community, to do the katha, to do the prachar, if Bhai Man Singh ji weren't there yesterday to do that katha on Chamkaur Sahib, that whole sakka, then we wouldn't know about those things. They're sharing their talent, they're sharing their gift. And through the gift of speaking, they're really connecting the Sangat. So other people are benefiting from that. Another thing is other people's lives may change because of the seva that we're doing. And it's so true. Our lives change when we do seva. Other people's lives change when they look at us and we're doing seva, because we're doing it from a place of love. Another thing that happens is it leads to a more satisfying life. Here's another brain image. On the left, you can see is a sad brain. There's not much, lighting in that brain because it's sad, it's depressed. But on the right side, you can see is a happy brain. It's so lit up. There's so many connections. There's so much happening in that brain because it's happy. So when we do seva and we make it regular, then we become happy. We get out of that darkness. Another thing is it leads to a faster growth and development. When we exercise something continuously, we start to use it. If we don't do something, let's say if we have, the ability to memorize Gurbani, I'm just taking it as an example. If we don't use it, then we're going to start forgetting Gurbani. Okay, it's like a muscle. If you don't use a muscle, you can lose that muscle. And that works the same way. If we have a talent, then use it. Another thing is showing appreciation to our giver, to our creator who gave us that talent, gave us that skill, gave us that ability to do seva. So we've come to the end now, Sangat ji. And hopefully your thoughts on these questions have changed a bit. And hopefully we'll see you do more seva now, around the campsite. And not just here, but outside of the campsite as well now. Hopefully, the Bibiyan especially, I'm going to keep on, drilling you. I'm sorry, but it is true that we do shy away a lot. We are very shy because we're like, oh, Singha hai gaya, oh, kar loge, I don't need to get involved. I'm not good enough. But the truth is, we need you. You are the future as well. Kids come from you. Babies come from you. If you're not confident, you're passing that down to your kid. We don't want that. We want to be the confident cause. Like Viji mentioned yesterday, when jehde bachchiyan de sir lathde sige, neje te pande sige, they got cut and they put on the neja, oh bibiyan dardiyan sigiyan. They didn't, right? So we need to, we can be like them. And we can have that confidence within us. And we can do seva. And that tells us that tomorrow is Bibi Day. It's official now. Hone kehta, kal Bibi Day hai, sari bibiyan ne seva karni kal. Okay? Very good. How many people are going to do seva? Bibiyan kal. Guys are going to do it too. We need your help. We can't leave you around. We're just going to leave it at this last bit. And I think the time is almost up. That's good. Man, know thyself, then thou shalt know the universe and God. We need to know who we are inside. Then we'll know everything that's around us. When we do start to do that code inside, then everything will fall into place. The more we connect with ourselves inwardly, then those inner qualities, those gifts, those skills, they come out. Then we can use them. We can start sharing them with the Sangat, and we start to lose that ego. So start doing Seva, because we want to get rid of that ego as much as we can, so that we can connect with Naam, we can connect with Gurbani. So this is the end of the lecture. And I apologize for making several mistakes. I am not good at this, but I've been put at this pot. So with Maharaj's Kripa and the Sangat's Asisa, so please forgive me. I've made several mistakes. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.